Damontae Kazee got suspended for the rest of the season for a hit that he laid out against Michael Pittman when they were playing the Colts this past Saturday. And the NFL has turned really soft. Really soft. You can't blame Damontae Kazee for that hit. What do you want the Deuce to do anymore? You can't even play defense in the National Football League anymore. And Tom Brady came out and spoke out against this suspension and said that it's not Damontae Kazee's fault. What do you want these defensive players to do? Blame the quarterback. Blame Gardner Minshew for throwing that pass that set Michael Pittman up for that hit. As a quarterback, you're not supposed to put your receivers in harm's way. That's why you're supposed to throw them open, away from harm's way, Gardner Minshew. Come on, man. The NFL isn't even the NFL anymore. They trying to make this thing two-hand touch, and it used to be a laughing joke. But at this point, it really could be. They're about to ban the hit, drop, tackle. Like, I get trying to promote player safety because these players, once they retire, they've been suing the hell out of the NFL. And they've been losing a lot of money in these lawsuits. And you have all these new CTE findings coming out, and you go on Antonio Brown's Twitter every day and you see what he's tweeting, and you're like, yeah, like you understand why the NFL needs to make these games safer. But at the same time, you got to understand what you're walking into when you're a player who suits up to play football. Even going back to when your parents first signed you up to play Pop Warner. This is a violent sport. You can get hurt, possibly killed playing this game. You can only make this game so safe without removing what makes American football. That's the physicality, people. It's a brutal sport. It's a gladiator sport. Do you know how crazy you got to be to go out for 60 minutes every Sunday, running around trying to knock somebody's head off and trying to score, avoiding getting your head knocked off your helmet or knocked off your shoulders? Like, come on, bro. You got to be a little crazy to play the game of football. Look at some of the characters that we've had over the years. Ray Lewis. I told one of my friends a couple of days ago, if Ray Lewis was playing in this era of the NFL right now in the year 2023, this dude would have got ejected and fined in nearly every single game that he would have played in this era, bro, because you can't play defense with intensity anymore. They want you to softly wrap these players up, and they don't want you to hit them too hard. You can't even sack the quarterback anymore. You sack the quarterback the wrong way, it's a flag. And you wonder why offensive coaches are starting to dominate this league. You see, when you used to actually be able to play defense back in the 80s and 90s, yeah, that's why defensive coaches were winning a lot. But these offensive coaches are having success because you can't play defense. You can't cover nobody no more. You just slightly pull somebody as pass interference. You can't really tackle nobody a certain way anymore. You can't sack the quarterback. It's like, damn, what can you do on defense? No wonder the offenses are now starting to dominate, and these random quarterbacks like Tommy DeVito and Jake Browning are coming out of nowhere having success. Look how easy it is to have success on offense. If your offense sucks, then whoever is calling the plays needs to be fired immediately, because it is too easy now to play offense in the NFL. You see, Tom Brady, y'all can call him soft all you want to. This dude played in the NFL when, you know, there was never really such a thing as roughing the passer. You see, back when Tom Brady first entered the league, it was a different game. You know, some of the hits that he was taking back then are not the same hits that he took during the later stage of his career. And that's why I love when Tom Brady always speaks out on these things. Because you're looking at a player that played in two of the different generations of the NFL. The soft era of defense and the hard-nosed physical era of defense. You see, now you look at the league, and half of the players that dominated in the earlier eras of the NFL, the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, they would not have been able to survive in the current era of what the NFL is right now. Defense is pretty much hard to play anymore. If you have a great defense, you got to cherish that shit, man, because that's rare. You can't even breathe on these receivers. Damontae Kazee, is like, the hit was a little bit unnecessary. He probably could have made a play for the ball, but these players are going 100 miles per hour. You know, you got to make decisions at a split second. And most of the times, you don't even have time to think. You just got to react. And I'm pretty sure he didn't mean to hit Michael Pittman in a way that was going to put him on a stretcher. But these defenders, they're not worried about player safety when they play. They're worried about trying to make a play, trying to make enough plays where they can show enough on film and keep a job that can provide for their families. So the fact that Damontae Kazee is suspended for the rest of the season due to this hit on Michael Pittman, it just makes me a little bit afraid of what is going to be the future of this game. Because what has made this game what it is today, the most popular sport in America, is its physicality, its violent nature. This is not a game that's meant to be safe. You're going to have injuries. That's part of the game. When you lose your backup quarterback, when you lose your starting quarterback and you lose your backup quarterback like how the 49ers did in the NFC Championship, that's part of the game. Injuries come with it. Hell, the game used to be a lot more violent back in the 80s and 70s. Like, I had a head coach in middle school who used to play for the Chicago Bears, and he was on one of those Super Bowl winning teams with one of those great defenses. And he told me how back then they didn't have all that padding in their helmet. You know what they had? They had small little strings, and they used to call them headache boxes. Now, I don't know why those old school coaches who used to play football back then be bragging about all that stuff, because playing through CTE, I don't think that's anything to brag about, anything to really praise for being able to play through. But the game is a lot safer now than what it ever has been. And you can only continue to water down this product so much without taking away what makes the sport the sport.